Assalamualaikum everyone. Good morning. How's everyone?
Good morning, sir.
Good morning everyone. कैसे हैं आप सब? How's everyone, guys? Hopefully you have covered first week of lectures. If not, then it's perfectly okay. Don't worry about that. And if you face any difficulty, problem, issue, do let me know. I will address all your queries. But before taking your queries, let me discuss few points. As in the first week, we supposed to cover the basics of investment appraisal. You guys must have covered NPV, IRR, MIRR, duration, or the initial, the WACC, cost of capital. So the basics have been covered till now, and I will take your question after a few minutes, but let me discuss few points here. So for example, number one question, that how to solve NPV question on Excel. So how to solve the question on the Excel? For example, you have done the 000 round off. You can copy that in next cells. Then you will write years. Obviously, everybody knows the performer, even if you haven't studied AFM yet. This is the performer, guys. Normally, we record the sales or revenue first, then variable cost, then relevant fixed cost, then tax allowable depreciation, and then by taking the difference of all these, we record the operating profit or profit. Then we apply the tax here, for example, 30%. Then we add back the depreciation, then working capital change, investment, scrap value. This is a very basic performer. It's a very basic performer. And after that, we calculate the net cash flows. For example, net cash flow is 1,000, 500, 400, 200, 100, and 200. This is the basic performer, basic net cash flows. So let's assume discount rate is 10%. So there are two ways to solve this. Discount rate is 10%. There are two ways to solve this. Number one is equal to 1 plus 10%, 1.1 raised to power minus, link it with the year. And copy this into the next cells. And then calculate the present value. Multiply the discount factor with the net cash flow. You can calculate the present value and copy into the next cells. You can round it to 2 decimal. Then NPV will be equal to sum of all these. NPV is 127.87. There is another way of putting the discount rate. That is 1 plus discount rate, 10%, and then link it with the year. link it with the year. But the problem is it will be applicable in this cell. But if you copy into the next cells, it will not be copied properly. So let me do that. It will not be copied properly. Why? Because you haven't locked this cell. So in order to lock the cell, you can put the $sign before the row number and the cell number. Now, if you copy, it will be okay. So guys, this is time consuming step. Examiner has introduced one simple formula for the NPV, and that is write the NPV is equal to simple write 3-letter NPV bracket start. First of all, write this discount rate 10%. Apply comma. Select all cash flows from year 1 onwards. Remember the rule. Select all cash flows from year 1 onwards. Bracket close and deduct the initial investment. But initial investment is already negative. That's why I will add the initial investment. Otherwise, negative will become the positive value. So let me correct it, number 127.87. So why there is a need of doing so many steps if I can simply write one formula that is equal to NPV bracket start rate 10%, comma, select all cash flows from year 1 onwards plus the initial investment. Why plus? Initial investment will always be deducted. Initial investment is a negative number. That's why I'm adding it. Otherwise, it must be deducted. Answer is 127.87. That is the answer. That's how you will calculate NPV on the Excel. Now the second question. How to calculate IRR on the Excel? Remember, if we want to calculate the IRR on the Excel, how to calculate that? First discounting at 10%, second discounting at 20%, and for example, 1.2 raised to power minus, link it with a year, copied in the next cells, then calculate the PV. Into the discount factor, and then calculate the NPV, summing all the values. Now we have 2 discount rates and 2 NPV. Now apply the formula IRR, lower rate. Remember, lower rate is 10% plus lower rate NPV divided by lower rate NPV minus higher rate NPV into higher rate minus lower rate. So it will take time. So answer is 16.8% roughly. Instead of doing so many steps, simply you can apply this formula, right? 3-letter word IRR is equal to select all cash flows, all the before present value cash flows, all cash flows. In IRR, we will select all cash flows. Answer is 16.4%. So this is the, obviously we know that in IRR, there cannot be one exact answer, because if you take the different rates, answer will be different. So instead of doing so many steps, you can apply this formula. This is allowed by the examiner. You can apply this formula. So instead of doing so many steps, you can apply this. How to calculate the MIRR? Instead of calculating manually by taking the present value or the terminal value of the return phase, divided it with the present value of the investment phase, then raised to power 1 over n. Instead of doing that, simply write 4-letter MIRR. MIRR is equal to, select all values. Then write financing rate and the reinvestment rate. In our syllabus, normally financing rate and reinvestment rate both are same at 10% at cost of capital. So MIRR is equal to 13%, 12.68%. So it is very simple, guys. Simply, how to calculate the NPV? Instead of doing this, you know the discount rate is 10%. How to calculate the NPV? Right, NPV, 3-word, bracket start. First of all, select the rate or simply write the rate here, comma. Select all cash flows from year 1 onwards. Bracket close. Deduct the initial investment, as initial investment is a negative number, so that's why I'm adding it. 127. For IRR, instead of doing so many steps, simply write IRR, 3-word, 3-letter, bracket start, select all values from year 0 till last year. 16.4%. For MIRR, simply write 4-letter word MIRR, bracket start, select all values from year 0 till last, and write the cost of capital twice, as reinvestment rate, as the refinancing rate. 12.68. That's how you will calculate the MIRR. That's how you will calculate the MIRR. Okay. Now, next thing, how to calculate the payback? Cash flows are and always annual. Don't worry about that. How to calculate the payback? Let me calculate the payback, guys. First of all, write the years. Then write the net cash flows. Okay. For payback, you need to write cumulative cash flows. Cumulative cash flows. Cumulative cash flows. ये तो ऐसे ही आ जाएगा. This will come straight down because nothing is received in year 0. In year 1, you have covered the 500. Then copy it. So that means at the end of year 2, you haven't covered the cash flows, but at the end of year 3, you have covered more cash flows. So answer will be 2 years plus how many months? You need 100 at the end of year 1, at the end of year 2. And what you have got at the end of year 3, you got 200 into 12. Into 12, 6. So answer is 2 years plus 6 months. That's the answer. Payback period. So how to calculate the discounted payback period? Discounted payback period. Remember, for discounted payback period, we need present value. So let me copy these two. Net cash flows. Let me link it with the cell. Always create link with the cell. Never copy the cells. Create a link with the cell. But I need a net cash flows here. What I will do is equal to select this and then copy into the next cell. So these are net cash flows. Net cash flows. So I need a discounted cash flows first. So let's take the discounting at 10%. Here I need to calculate the discounting separately for payback. That's why I'm doing that. Present value. For discounted payback period, you need present value, guys. Then write cumulative present value. In first year, you haven't received anything else, so it will be come down. And in second year, you need 1000, but you receive 454. Copy to the next cells. So at the end of third year, you need 64, but you got 68. So almost 4 years is the answer, guys. 3 years, let me calculate it. You need 64.61 divided by 68.30 into 12. Into 12. So its answer is 3 years and 11 months. That's the answer. So in discounted payback period, you need to calculate present value first, then you can calculate the answer. Okay, how to calculate duration? Duration, project duration. For project duration, you need years and present value. So let me copy first the years and copy the present value. Okay, there are two ways to solve this. First one is multiply, take the total of all this from the positive value. Remember, from the positive value. From the positive value. Okay. Now multiply the value with the year. Okay. Now take the sum of all these. The duration will be 2.18. Duration will be 2.18 year. That's how you will calculate the duration. There is another way. This is quite simple. There is another way. Let me do in that way, which you have learned in the class. Take the sum of this. And first of all, proportion of each year. Portion of each year. That is, divide the present value with the total. With the total. Divide the each present value with the total. So when you divide each present value with the total, so that means total will remain constant in each division. So I will lock this cell. Okay, then weighted average years. And then take the total duration. So this is lengthy, right? So instead of following this technique, I will ask you to follow the first technique, that is calculate the present value and its total, multiply each present value with the year and its total, and divide this with the this. That's how you will calculate the duration. Yes, locking cell will be available in the exam. Locking cell will be available in the exam. Few more points. Now the next question is, very important question is, how to calculate YTM, KD, and market value of bond using Excel. Okay, guys, if you guys haven't covered the topics which I am discussing, you can watch this video again after covering those lectures. Okay, because the topics which I'm covering, it is very useful when you are solving the questions of investment appraisal and other topics. So how to calculate the market value of the bond? For example, it's a F9 topic, by the way. For example, par value is $100. Coupon or interest is 10%. Okay. The required return or YTM is 8%. Maturity is 5 year. Okay. Redeemable at par. Bond is redeemable at par. So number one question, how to calculate market value? Number one question, how to calculate the market value? Now using the Excel, it is quite simple. It is very simple. How you are going to do that? Number one thing, you will write the years. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then you will write the cash flows. Every year, you will receive the interest, 100 into par value, 100 into coupon rate, 100 into coupon rate, 100 into coupon rate, 10. Every year you will receive this. And in the last year, you will receive the par value as well. So in last year, you will receive 110. What is market value? Present value of all cash flows, right? Present value of all cash flows. So NPV will be equal to, market value will be equal to, how to calculate the present value of future cash flow using NPV formula, right? NPV is equal to rate. What is the rate? Required return, discount rate, or YTM 8%. Select all cash flows from year 1 onwards. So this is the market value of the bond. This is the market value of the bond, 107.9. That's how you will calculate the market value of the bond. 107.9. Ignore the traditional formulas. Use this formula to calculate market value. This is a very in very few seconds you will be able to calculate the market value. Okay, how to calculate the YTM? How to calculate YTM? So let me copy the question. For example, market value is given 108 and you need to calculate the YTM. How to calculate the YTM? First of all, write the years. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Write the cash flows. Year 0, market value will be negative number. Interest rate is 100 into interest rate. And in last year, you will receive the par value. Right? So now calculate the YTM. You can use the IRR formula to calculate the YTM. 8%. Use the IRR formula to calculate the YTM. Now, how to calculate the KD? Remember, there is a difference between YTM and KD, and then that difference is, what is that difference? Tax. So let me copy the formula. How to calculate the KD? Additional information, tax will be given. For example, 30%. How to calculate? Write years 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Write cash flows. Market value will be a negative number. Now, every year when you are calculating the interest, you will calculate its after-tax value into 0.7. So instead of receiving 10, it will be 7. And in last year, you will also receive the par value plus 100. So now, how to calculate the KD? Simply apply the IRR formula. So KD will be 5.14%. Okay. Okay, there is a question in market value calculation. We took cash flows of all the years. Yes, all the years, because cash flows are starting from year 1. Cash flows are already starting in year 1, and I am applying the NPV formula. And in NPV, we need to apply cash flows from year 1. That's why. So please apply these techniques from now onwards. Okay. Can we deduct tax from the YTM to get KD? Yes, you can do that if calculated YTM is given, or if the corporate bond is given. The corporate bond is given. Otherwise, in a case of redeemable debt, calculate the KD using IRR formula. All of these formulas are available in the exam. All of these formulas are available in the exam. I will not tell you any formula that is not available in the exam. I'm not teaching the Excel, na? I'm teaching you the AFM. I'm only teaching those formulas which are available in the exam. Look, I haven't tell you any shortcut key of the Excel because those will not be applicable in the exam except copy paste. Copy paste will be available. Copy cut will be available. Other shortcut keys will not be available. I haven't tell you the shortcut key of the auto sum or the other key because those will not be available in the exam. Okay, now guys, please ask question if you have any. I have taken some time to explain the basics. So if you have any question, do let me know. Anyone? किसी का कोई क्वेश्चन है? Do you have any question, guys? Redeemable and irredeemable debt topics. It's very simple. Let me explain that. Irredeemable ये एक ऐसा debt है, it's that type of debt which have no date of redemption. We can say that it's a undated debt. So no date of redemption. How to calculate the market value of this? Market value will always be present value of future cash flow. So if a bond is irredeemable, that means it will pays you interest every year from year 1 till infinity, perpetually. So how to calculate its present value? Simply take the present value of interest till perpetuity. That is equal to market value. So what I have done, divide the interest with the required return, market value. And how to calculate the required return? Interest over market value. And how to calculate the KD? Simply after tax the interest. So KD is interest into 1 minus T divided by market value. That is irredeemable debt. What about the redeemable debt, which I have just covered? Redeemable debt has a limit of years, like it can be 4 years, 3 years, 2 years, 7 years, 5 years. So if it is a 5-year debt, so what you are going to do, market value is present value of all cash flows. So redeemable bond will give you interest in every year. And in last year, it will give you the redemption value. So market value will be equal to the present value of all these cash flows. That is equal to the market value. Redeemable. But how to calculate the KD? KD or YTM? KD is like the IRR of the bond. KD is like the cost for the company and required return for the investor. Required return will always be IRR. So how to calculate that? Year 0, you will put the market value as a negative number. As you have invested in year 0 and you are getting the return in remaining years. And in last year, you will calculate the redemption value. When you calculate the IRR of all these, that will be equal to KD. But remember, in KD, you will take the after tax interest. In YTM, you will take the before tax interest. That's the only difference. Okay. There are other questions. Sir, all of the investment appraisal questions are based on the formula pro forma. Please tell me where we will use a lot of theory written class notes such as advantage and disadvantage. Another theory notes in the investor appraisal. In investment appraisal, examiner can ask you theory of like advantage and disadvantage. I seriously doubt that examiner can ask you the advantage and disadvantage of NPV, payback. It's difficult. Yes, maybe examiner can ask you about the duration, project duration, MIRR, and the theory which examiner can ask you, that is all about the assumptions in investment appraisal. By the end of next week, we would have covered all the topics, all the major topics of investment appraisal. So we will discuss that which theory can be tested in exam from the investment appraisal. So I can say for theory, wait for at least one more week, because by the end of next week, we will be covering, we would have covered APV as well. So I can tell you more conveniently that how examiner can test the theory from these parts. Now it is too early. It is easy for me to say that learn the advantage and disadvantage, but examiner don't ask advantage and disadvantage now. Examiner will ask about you about the assumptions of the question. Examiner can ask about you the discussion of topic in relevance with the other topic. But that cannot be the payback. It can be duration, it can be MIRR, the new topics of P4. नए वाले जो टॉपिक है उनके बारे में वो टेस्ट करेगा. Okay, one question, can MIRR be negative? MIRR answer is wrong in the question. MIRR answer is wrong in the we get, and the question which I have compiled. For MIRR answer of sleep on, I'm talking about the sleep on, guys. Sleep on answer is wrong. For sleep on, go to the Excel file which I have shared. Their formula, their answer is correct. Let me open that for you people. I have shared Excel file there. It will take some time. Let me open that. Okay. Here you find in this file is available in the orientation tab in your LMS. In this file, you can find the sleep on answer. Let me find that for you people. It must be there. Sleep on answer. This answer is right. The book answer is wrong, but this answer is right. Okay, MIRR is positive. Even the NPV is negative, still the MIRR is positive. Okay, Mudassir, I think you got your answer. After completing the first week lectures, which question to solve for practice? Okay, let me tell you. Okay, G, any other question? Can you explain the gearing and ungearing of KD and KE? It's bit unclear. Gearing and ungearing is a gearing or ungearing of beta. Because in KD, we don't gear and gear. Okay, let me explain that. Let me explain. Guys, give me 2 minutes. Let me explain. So beta formula is this. Beta asset is equal to beta equity. Remember, always take market value of equity. E stands for market value of equity. Divide by market value of equity plus market value of debt into 1 minus T. So in exam, beta equity will be given. You will calculate equity value, you will calculate debt value, you will put in the formula, and then you will calculate the beta asset. So let me do on the Excel so that you people know how to calculate that. Beta equity is, for example, 1.2. Market value of equity is, for example, 200 million. Market value of debt is, for example, 50 million. Tax is like 30%. So the formula is beta asset is equal to beta equity into equity divided by equity plus debt into 1 minus T. So how to solve that? Beta equity into market value of equity divided by market value of equity plus market value of debt into 1 minus T, that is 0.7. That is 1.02128. This is ungearing. If you are moving from beta equity to beta asset, this is ungearing. Similarly, if beta asset is given and you want to calculate the beta equity, how to calculate that? So beta asset will be given. This will be given. This will be given. These will be given. You need to calculate this. So you have to make the formula. Beta asset into equity plus debt 1 minus T divided by equity. Beta equity is 1.41. That's how you will calculate here. Okay. So moving from beta equity to beta asset is ungearing. And moving from beta asset to beta equity is regearing. Okay. Any other question, guys? Okay. Which question you can solve after covering the first week of lectures? Let me give you the hint. Give me 1 minute. If you guys can open the question bank. This is the question bank. Please, meanwhile, all open the question bank. Okay, let me copy here. Okay, these are all the questions of Appraisal, but we can't solve all. Which question we can solve? We can solve question number 1. Yes, we can solve few parts of question number 2. This is related to WAC. Very important question. Okay, next question which we can solve. Question number 10. Question number 11. 16. 24 and 25. These are the questions which we can solve after covering first week of lectures. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I think few of the questions we have already covered, and remaining question recording is available on the portal. You can solve these questions after covering the first week of lectures. By the way, first week is very easy. And in second week, you can enjoy more about the syllabus of AFM. You can feel the more knowledge of AFM from second week onwards. P4 is not that difficult. Enjoy and study AFM. Don't make it pressure for you. It's very easy paper. Seriously, we got brilliant result in every other attempt. So please, it's a request. Whenever you face problem, copy in the chat box. Sir, I am facing this problem. Please tell me. Look, we have many students in the WhatsApp group. Some of the students are following the schedule. Some of the students are behind the schedules, and many students are ahead of schedule. So if you are here and you are facing issue, obviously I will help, but students who are ahead of schedule, they will try to help you. And if you are here, you are behind the schedule and you are asking some question, there are two pool of students who are going to help you. Obviously, I will help. But if you ask in the WhatsApp group, your query will be addressed in seconds like. Even if I saw your query like after few hours, some of other students, some angel student will definitely help you. So do ask question in the WhatsApp group. For example, you are studying at 3 o'clock in the morning or at 2 o'clock in the night, and you are facing some issue, just ask in the WhatsApp group. WhatsApp group mein pooch lo. Some other student will help you. If I awake at that time, I will definitely help you. Otherwise, I will help you in the morning. While watching lectures, things are getting very easy. But when I try to attempt past question, it's a first week. Give yourself some time. In first week, we will not discuss about the theory. We will not discuss about the time management skills. We will not discuss about the typical difficult concepts. It's a first week. Give some time to yourself. After 2 weeks, that's why there is no test in the first week. We have a test in the next week. So you will start learning, you will start adopting things like in after 1 or 2 weeks. Don't worry about that. Restructuring topic is not easy, by the way. If you are facing difficulty, it's okay. Every other question is a new question. Will the test be on Excel? Yes, test will be on the Excel. And guys, from next week onward, we will solve question in the live class as well. Obviously, this is the first week. I'm not solving any question because we have covered the basics yet. But from next week onwards, we will solve question in the live class as well, so that you know how to solve the question with me. Any other question, guys? किसी का question है? Do you have any other question? Okay, one request. All of you have the notes, right? Okay. Guys, make some schedule and try to read these chapters from now. Chapter name is multinational operations. Start reading these chapters from now onwards. Note the chapters, please. Note the name of the chapters. Multinational operation. These are like 20 pages. Reverse takeover, Islamic finance, and pattern of behavior. 4 chapters. First of all, cover the multinational operations. Leave the remaining. These are like 20 pages. Read 2 pages at least one day. Cover in like next 10 years, next 10 days. This is a complete theory. Multinational operation is what is international trade, what is IMF, what is World Bank, what is the taxes on the international trade, what is export, import. So basics of international trade and international organizations. So please note this chapter, although it has no relevance with our first week. But examiner will test this in theory. So please note this chapter and start reading like 2 pages of this chapter per day basis. Okay, this is an additional assignment. Okay. So should I give you one assignment question? With theory and numerical? And you have to send it back. I will give you the email. You will have to email me that question by writing the numerical and theory. If anyone send me the question without theory, I will not accept that assignment. Okay, that is must. Perfect. I will share the question with you in couple of hours, so that you guys can have a practice at home. At least you know how to write the question. I will discuss the answer in the next. I will discuss and mark in next live class. You will send me answers and I will open the assignment of everyone without naming the student and will mark in the next live class. Okay? Okay? Perfect, right? That will work. I will not name the student. But if the assignment is if the answer is wonderfully draft, then I will name the student. I will share in the WhatsApp group. Sir, I will share in the WhatsApp group. Chalaji guys, thank you so much for joining everyone. And thank you so much for taking time to attend the live class. Please, it's my humble request that always take the live class and always share your queries so that you got the you get the confidence and you can enjoy studying AFM with us. Remember, in next week, there will be a test. There will be a test of topics which we have covered in the first week. So you guys have covered the basic investment appraisal and WAC. So there will be a test in the next week till the WAC. Thank you so much, guys. Take care.
Bye, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.